A profound question has lingered in my mind for years, refusing to let go. Though it might seem deceptively simple at first glance, it actually holds profound truths about the universe. The crux of the matter is this: why is it that once things break apart, they can never truly return to their original pristine state? Consider this for a moment. Picture it. You might accidentally drop a plate and watch it shatter into 1,000 tiny fragments across the floor. Yet you will never witness those tiny shards spontaneously levitate from the floor and reassemble themselves into a whole unbroken plate. You can effortlessly mix coffee and milk, but once they've blended into a single concoction, separating them becomes an impossible feat. The very essence of nature unfolds in one fixed, irreversible direction. Everything invariably shifts from a state of order to one of chaos. There is no reverse trajectory. And if you dare to defy this fundamental law of motion, if you attempt to turn back the hands of time, the universe will inevitably make you pay the price. And that price, more often than not, is astronomically steep. It is precisely for this reason that when someone probes my perspective on the colonization of the red planet, on humanity's fervent desire to establish a home on a distant celestial body, I've envisioned those magnificent vistas, resplendent spacecraft launching against a sunset glow, pristine crystal domes shimmering on the vivid red terrain, and astronauts planting flags, beaming brightly for the cameras. It's truly breathtaking and utterly inspiring. Humanity has already set foot on the moon, and now Mars beckons. It's merely the next natural evolution, another monumental leap, nothing inherently extraordinary. However, I must interject at this very moment. I must impress upon you, pause for a moment, that you're perceiving this challenge as if it were purely a geographical hurdle, as if distance were merely a number in kilometers, as if it were simply an endless expanse to traverse. Yet in the realm of physics, distance is far more than just tangible space. In truth, distance is the intricate interplay of forces, and when we delve deeper into analyzing the forces that govern the journey to Mars, and even more critically, the forces essential for the return journey, you will confront a chilling reality. Mars is not a layover, it's a trap. I'm not saying this to exaggerate the issue, not due to alien entities nor mysterious conspiracies. I'm talking about the laws of physics, the principles of thermodynamics, and biological imperatives. All these laws have conspired without any permission from us to turn a journey to Mars into a one-way trip, not because the rockets will malfunction, but because the travelers themselves won't survive. Let me illuminate the first trap. This danger constantly lurks, ready to engulf you at any moment. You're probably wondering if I'm exaggerating. Dust? Here on Earth, dust is an utterly mundane phenomenon. Fierce sandstorms regularly sweep across the Sahara Desert. Countless vast deserts are perpetually shrouded in dust. We use brooms to sweep, vacuum cleaners to clean. Just a quick brush of dust off our clothes and everything's back to normal. So what makes Martian dust so uniquely perilous? Well, I'm about to make that perfectly clear for you. Let's delve into the story of a tiny grain of sand on that planet. This is a story that harbors a terrifying power. However, it's also a captivating tale of wondrous transformation. You'll see, on our planet, we are blessed with an utterly unique element. It is water. We witness raindrops descending from the heavens, majestic rivers carving their paths to the boundless seas, and relentless waves caressing the pristine white sands. Over billions of years, every single grain of sand on Earth has endured relentless erosion and countless impacts. Battered by impact, scoured by countless particles, and ceaselessly tumbled within flowing currents, each grain is gradually sculpted and polished until it gleams. Picture yourself holding a shard of glass, its edges sharp and jagged, then entrusting it to a relentless polishing machine, allowing millennia to unfold. As you gently caress it between your fingers, you'll discover a softness akin to velvet. This is the distinctive dust that defines our planet. It is a dust imbued with a gentle, benevolent nature. This dust has been sculpted and softened by the relentless embrace of water. Yet Mars stands as a desolate, lifeless planet. Life there ceased in an epoch so ancient our imaginations struggle to grasp its depth. There is absolutely no rain. Rain has been absent for 3 billion long years. No, not a single river nor an ocean exists there. There is no element whatsoever capable of smoothing those rugged rocks. The sole force shaping the Martian rock surfaces is the relentless, violent bombardment from meteorites. They ceaselessly rain down in an astonishing array of shapes and sizes, a relentless barrage spanning billions of years. These rock masses constantly collide, shattering other stones into countless fragments. Their size gradually diminishes over time until, If we meticulously examine a Martian dust particle under a microscope, what emerges is not a smooth pearl, but a razor blade possessing astonishingly sharp edges. They're powerful enough to cleave a human cell right in two. It's essentially glass pulverized down to a microscopic level. Glass that's been crushed, not just to dust, but all the way down to an atomic scale. What makes this even more challenging is that Mars is an incredibly arid planet. And guess what moisture does? It acts as an electrical conductor. When the air is bone dry, electrical charges have nowhere to dissipate their energy. They gradually build up, and then these tiny crystal fragments become statically charged, transforming into microscopic magnets. They cling to everything. To paint a clearer picture, let's imagine this scenario. Your spacecraft has safely touched down on the Martian surface. Everything seems perfect, but then a critical problem emerges. You can't possibly carry enough fuel for the return journey to Earth. The necessary fuel would be an incredibly heavy payload. If we tried to haul enough fuel for the return trip, we'd need a rocket as tall as a 50-story skyscraper just to escape Earth's orbit. With that colossal mass, it's mathematically impossible. So the strategy devised is to create the fuel right there on the planet. Engineers call this in situ resource utilization, or ISRU, a specialized concept for extracting materials from deep within the ground and then transforming them into fuel. The first step involves extracting ice from deep beneath the Martian surface. Next, we'll need to collect carbon dioxide gas directly from the atmosphere. Next, we'll process these collected materials by operating a complex assembly of machinery. The pumps are forced into relentless operation, never pausing, not even for a single minute. The compressors are engineered for unceasing rotation, designed to spin relentlessly for months on end. The valves must endure thousands of relentless opening and closing cycles. Metal bearings demand absolute rotational precision without a millimeter of deviation, and it's precisely at this critical juncture that dust makes its insidious appearance. This magnetic microcrystal isn't content to simply lie passively on the ground. Electromagnetic fields lift it, suspending it in the void like tiny ethereal specters shimmering in and out of sight, and relentlessly adheres to every surface it touches. It latches onto solar panels, drastically diminishing their light absorption efficiency. It adheres stubbornly to your astronaut suit. What's truly alarming is its insidious penetration into every nook and cranny of your equipment. It relentlessly worms its way deep inside the bearings. With a hardness surpassing even steel and an edge as keen as a razor, it utterly pulverizes them. It relentlessly corrodes metal from its very core to its outermost surface. It pierces rubber gaskets designed to seal airtight compartments, slicing through them with the effortless ease of cutting butter. You'll exhaust every conceivable method to eradicate it, yet cleansing it proves impossible, for this material possesses an inherent magnetic nature. Every time you strive to clean it, it stubbornly refuses to vanish. On the contrary, you only drive them deeper, embedding them more firmly into the surface structure. And then you become the unwitting architect of humanity's greatest downfall. You yourself engineered this sprawling factory complex, an extraordinary feat right on the Martian surface, to produce the vital fuel for your journey back home. Yet with cruel irony, this very marvel of engineering is now severely self-destructing. The complex is decaying, gears are seizing, control valves are relentlessly leaking, and the solar panels are choked by a thick, stubborn layer of brown dust, a dust that cannot be cleaned, for there is no water to wash it away. The very laws of physics are conspiring against you. Even electrostatic forces are actively impeding your progress. And friction, too, is relentlessly working against you. And you suddenly realize that the very equipment you painstakingly built, hoping it would carry you back to Earth, even though she is gone, we must still steadfastly maintain a positive outlook on life. I always champion and deeply cherish the spirit of optimism. Let's assume you've definitively conquered every single dust-related challenge. Imagine you've successfully engineered an extraordinary material, one with the power to completely repel any dust intrusion. You've meticulously synthesized the fuel and filled the storage compartments to capacity. You are now fully prepared for liftoff. Now we must turn our attention to a second, equally formidable peril. This particular danger bears no relation whatsoever to mechanical equipment. Instead, it directly impacts our very own bodies. It affects the tissues within your body, threatening your very existence. We need to delve deeper into the pervasive phenomenon of radiation. When the public encounters the term radiation, they often immediately conjure images of objects glowing with an eerie green light, of nuclear power plants, of sci-fi films featuring grotesque mutants. However, the true nature of radiation is far simpler, yet infinitely more terrifying than we imagine. Cosmic radiation at its core is nothing more than bullets of energy, incredibly tiny particles of matter, primarily protons and helium nuclei, hurtling at astonishing velocities. How fast, you ask? They're almost at the speed of light. On our planet, our protective shield is incredibly robust. We are unbelievably fortunate in ways we rarely realize. Two formidable shields are protecting our lives. The first is Earth's magnetic field. It acts like a giant invisible umbrella, deflecting these dangerous particles from their original path and pushing them towards the poles. This is precisely what creates the brilliant auroras that we witness. Essentially, they are deflected cosmic particles penetrating our atmosphere at the polar regions. Our second protective shield is none other than the atmosphere, a dense layer of air stretching hundreds of kilometers. If a cosmic ray manages to penetrate and reach your location on Earth's surface, it would have endured countless collisions with atmospheric molecules, and most of its destructive energy would have been dissipated. Imagine it like a bullet that has pierced hundreds of cotton walls. Its destructive power would no longer be enough to threaten you. However, the space between Earth and Mars is just an endless void. It's a perfect vacuum, a cosmic proving ground fraught with countless dangers. The sun relentlessly bombards you with protons. Meanwhile, the rest of the galaxy showers you with a relentless barrage of heavy ions. This relentless assault persists throughout your journey on the spacecraft, 6 months traveling to Mars, plus another 6 months for the return trip. It's like you're up against a relentless firing squad. So what happens when one of these cosmic bullets streaks through your body? Your body is built from fundamental atoms, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. These atoms are tightly bound together thanks to electrons. Electrons act like a molecular glue, holding together the molecules in your body. They are also a crucial element, safeguarding the integrity of your DNA. When a super-energetic cosmic ray effortlessly slices through your spacecraft, ignoring its robust shielding, tearing through metal as if it weren't even there, it plunges deeper into your body, and when it slams directly into one of the atoms that form your very being, it smashes into the electrons, knocking them clean out. Imagine throwing a wrecking ball at a fragile structure, much like a house of cards. That structure crumbles, its chemical bonds severed. This is ionization. And here's the thing, the human body is a remarkable biological marvel. Truly, it's the ultimate feat of bioengineering. Inside, it houses dedicated repair crews present in every single one of your cells. Microscopic proteins constantly patrol your DNA, scrutinizing for any signs of damage. When they find a faulty segment, they instantly raise the alarm, emergency fix required. And usually they accomplish this mission with flying colors. However, on a journey to Mars, damage accumulates at a terrifying pace. It's like trying to patch up a roof in the midst of a raging hurricane. The repair crews begin to falter. They incorrectly splice segments of material. They link a gene that orchestrates cell function, a gene that dictates cell growth. Stop growing, but the cells become confused, forget their purpose, and begin to multiply uncontrollably. This, in essence, is cancer. Yet this insidious disease takes its time to manifest. For cancer to truly reveal its presence, it can take up to 2 decades. You might declare yourself willing to accept the risk of developing cancer over the next 2 decades, all for the immediate chance to set foot on Mars. But there's something else that unfolds even more rapidly. Another critical issue emerges right in the midst of your journey. Your brain, your kidneys, you'll soon discover that nerve cells simply don't regenerate effectively. When a high-energy, heavy ion slams into a nerve cell in your brain, it leaves behind a swath of dead tissue. It's like a microscopic bullet hole, a tiny, devastating impact. Over the course of a long journey, your brain is literally being transformed into Swiss cheese. Your cognitive abilities will begin to wane. Memories will fade, and your mind will drift into a disorienting fog. Imagine you're operating a massive spaceship preparing to land on Earth, but you've completely forgotten all the control buttons. How to operate it, because a crucial part of your brain, the very place holding all those control memories, has been utterly obliterated by a stray energy particle born from a cataclysmic supernova thousands of light years away. And your kidneys, they are your body's vital blood filtration system. They boast an incredibly intricate and complex structure composed of miles of microscopic tubules. Radiation will utterly devastate these tubules, damaging, hardening, and scarring them, transforming them into useless, rigid tissue. This is the grim scenario. You've miraculously survived the cosmic dust cloud, even synthesized your own fuel, and you're halfway home, but your kidneys are failing catastrophically. Your bloodstream is now flooded with deadly toxins because the essential filtering organs in your body have completely shut down. You have no choice but to undergo artificial dialysis. A specialized blood purification device is absolutely indispensable. Yet a medical facility is nowhere to be found. You're trapped in a sealed metal compartment millions of miles away, with not a single doctor or medical professional in sight. Death is an inevitable outcome. Death isn't due to a technical malfunction of the ship. It's because of you, because the laws of cosmic physics have crushed the biological machine within your body, causing you to disintegrate completely at an atomic level. However, let's pause for a moment, because the actual situation is far more dire than that. A third trap is lurking, waiting, and this is the nightmare that keeps me awake every night. Because it is incredibly complex, exquisitely sophisticated, and terrifyingly perfect in its cruel nature. It is the trap called gravity. Gravity has always been a mysterious phenomenon. Isaac Newton gave humanity the mathematical formula to quantify it, but even he admitted that he didn't truly understand its core nature. What he understood were only the manifestations and consequences it produced, that all objects possess gravity. Later, Einstein appeared, and he argued that it wasn't merely an attractive force, but rather the curvature of space-time. However you envision it, gravity is the factor that has shaped every muscle fiber in your body, every bone in your skeleton, every valve in your venous network. Each part was meticulously crafted with a single purpose: to constantly resist Earth's gravity, to contend with 1G. For instance, your heart is a powerful pump. It's a muscle, no bigger than your fist, forced to contract with extraordinary strength to push blood upwards against gravity all the way to your brain. It operates ceaselessly, every beat, day in and day out. It's like a professional weightlifter, constantly holding a heavy barbell overhead. Now imagine you're traveling to Mars. Mars is smaller, with weaker gravity, only 38% of Earth's gravity. Suddenly your heart will exclaim, "Hey, why am I working so hard? This is easy. I can totally relax. I don't need to expend so much energy just to pump blood up to nourish my brain." So can you picture how biology will respond? Anything that's no longer essential, nature will automatically discard. Biological mechanisms demonstrate a ruthless optimization. Your body will tell itself, energy is being wasted on this muscle, this massive heart muscle, so let's make it shrink. Your heart will atrophy, and its pumping capacity will diminish. Its structure actually changes. And what about your skeletal system? In this story, your bones are actually the most alarming factor. Perhaps you still mistakenly believe your skeleton is a sturdy steel framework supporting a building, something permanent, an immutable structure. But the truth is quite the opposite. Your skeleton, more precisely, is a bank. It acts as a calcium bank right inside your body. Ceaselessly, your body constantly makes deposits and withdrawals of calcium from this bank. Our bodies accumulate calcium into the bone structure to enhance their strength and rigidity, to support your body resisting the pull of gravity. However, as soon as you set foot on Mars, your body will practically exclaim, "Hey!" Your body will realize that this heavy skeletal framework has become superfluous. In this low-gravity environment, everything feels feather-light. Your body will automatically adjust, becoming more streamlined. And so specialized bone-resorbing cells activate their mechanisms at the highest level, going into overdrive. These cells will dissolve your skeletal framework, pushing calcium into your bloodstream. As a result, your bones will lose density, becoming porous and hollow. The bone structure at this point resembles a sponge or a hollow honeycomb. They become as brittle as chalk. However, that's nothing to worry about, as long as you remain a resident on Mars. You have fully integrated, becoming a true Martian. Your body has completely adapted to the living environment there. Now, you have become a creature specifically designed by nature for a low-gravity environment. However, let's truly delve into the heart of the matter we're discussing. The fundamental challenge here is the very possibility of returning to our home planet. Picture this scenario. You're attempting to make your way back to Earth. As you board your vessel, another 6-month journey of weightless suspension begins anew. Your skeletal system will become even more fragile. Concurrently, your heart will continue its process of shrinking and weakening. The forces of deceleration will reach terrifying, crushing magnitudes. Your body will be forced to contend with G-forces of an utterly immense intensity. Let's just say by some incredible miracle, you've managed to survive this ordeal. Your capsule makes a safe splashdown into the vast ocean, and then slowly the hatch begins to creak open. You struggle to your feet, attempting to exit the capsule, but instantly your body gives way, collapsing uncontrollably. This is because all at once you are subjected to the full, unyielding 1G gravitational pull of the planet. Yet your body, now desperately struggling against 1G of force, was only ever designed to adapt to a mere 38% of that gravitational intensity. Your heart, already significantly atrophied and severely weakened, is desperately trying to pump blood up to nourish your brain, but it's utterly, tragically insufficient. Its power has been far too severely diminished. The planet's relentless gravity is now relentlessly pulling all your blood downwards, pooling it entirely in your legs. Consequently, your brain is confronting a critical and severe state of oxygen deprivation. You collapse, your skeletal frame, now as brittle as chalk, utterly struggling to bear the weight of your own body. Yet they utterly fail to stand firm. They shatter, inflicting severe multiple traumas upon you simply from the mere act of trying to stand. You're being crushed, not by a colossal boulder or a fearsome beast, but by the very environment you inhabit. You're being suffocated by the very circumstances that surround you, the place of your birth, because you've lost your true self. Your very essence has dissolved. The planet Mars has fundamentally reshaped you. It has stripped away your biological structure and remade it to suit its unique demands. And this brings us to the most profound point I wish to make concerning physical systems. We often speak of isolated systems, yet in truth nothing exists in complete separation. You are utterly inseparable from this blue planet. You mistakenly perceive yourself as an independent entity, merely existing on a planet. Yet the undeniable truth is that you are not merely present on it, but an intrinsic, inseparable component of the planet itself. You are an embodiment, an organic extension of the planet itself. Your very body is forged from the primordial elements of Earth itself. Your existence is intricately woven into a state of absolute equilibrium with Earth's gravitational field. You are enveloped and safeguarded by the planet's natural magnetic shield. You are an indispensable link within Earth's intricate and complex ecosystem. The moment you detach from the framework of this system, you become like a fish suddenly leaping from its familiar aquatic environment. A fish can only survive outside the water for a few fleeting moments. It might glimpse the air, feel the warmth of the sun. However, it cannot sustain life. If it lingers, death is an inescapable certainty. We often mistakenly believe that with the aid of advanced technology, thanks to achievements like rocket boosters, complex computer systems, and specialized spacesuits, we can transcend the limitations of this natural law. We harbor the illusion that we can craft our own isolated fishbowl and carry it along our journey, but the stark reality is that this fishbowl is perpetually prone to leaks. Lethal cosmic radiation descends, the relentless pull of gravity, the constant threat of escape, the pervasive, thick cosmic dust, and the unforgiving environment of space. It relentlessly endeavors to compel you into a state of equilibrium against the brutal conditions of Mars. On Mars, achieving equilibrium is synonymous with death itself. Or in the most optimistic scenario, it will irrevocably transform you into an individual forever bound to Mars. Thus, whenever I observe these ambitious colonization projects, complete with their projected timelines and the bold declaration that 1 million people will reside on Mars by 2050, I find myself unable to suppress a laugh, a bitter one, I might add, because they are willfully disregarding the immutable laws of nature. They are treating biology as if it were mere software, something you could effortlessly update with a simple patch. Yet biology is hardware. Hardware that has endured for 4 billion years, evolving and adapting to one singular environment, this very environment, this planet. The very presence of gravity, coupled with the enveloping atmosphere and the protective magnetic field, all these elements unequivocally demonstrate that we should not risk venturing beyond. I, for one, am not a born explorer. I deeply value curiosity. I believe we should dispatch our eyes and our ears. Instead, we should send robots. These autonomous machines are truly extraordinary. They are immune to cancer, and their structures will never crumble. They can slumber amidst the dust for millennia, then awaken and simply utter hello. I am ready to spring into action, but for us, these fragile entities composed of water and protein, whom we proudly call human, we must maintain humility and acknowledge that we are not the masters of this universe. We are merely the humble inhabitants of Earth, and like all children, we might venture a little further. We can play in our own backyard. We can explore the surrounding neighborhoods. Even the moon fits snugly within our backyard. We can stop, even linger for a few days. But ultimately, we must return to our cozy home. But what if we dared to cross the boundary? Suppose we journey through the vast cosmic expanse towards that faint, distant red speck in the heavens. We might face a door that is forever closed, forever left behind us. Then we might realize we've become strangers on our very own home planet, never again having the chance to set foot back in the place that gave us birth. Trapped like prisoners on a planet never truly shaped for our existence. Therefore, behold that pale blue dot suspended in endless space. That is truly your home, the only place you truly belong, where the fresh atmosphere nurtures all life, where gravity keeps you in perfect balance, where the magnetic field gently envelops you like a warm, protective blanket. Never underestimate its value. This is the one true home you will ever know, and for now, perhaps forever. This is your unparalleled home, the place you can always return to.